Okay, well, in Lightroom, we can now do panorama merges, and we can also do high dynamic HDR merges. So this video is going to cover the pano creation within Lightroom without going to Photoshop. So here, as you can see, I have some images that were shot in sections. So I suggest if you do shoot in if you choose to shoot with the idea that you're going to be stitching photographs together, make sure that you shoot your panoramas where you can overlap by a quarter of an image into the other image. So kind of imagine in your own view when you're taking the shot that you are going to overlap them by about a quarter into the shot. Now, some people also prefer to shoot them vertically because then you have less distortion. I happen to have horizontal images. So let me show you how this works. So here I isolated some images that I want to stitch together, and I marked them with 2 stars as a whole, and then I marked them with the red label as the different locations for the images. This shot was in Yosemite and this shot is downtown Los Angeles. So I selected the Yosemite shots, and all I need to do, and I would suggest not to adjust these images in Lightroom beforehand. So let's go to develop and let's reset all of these shots. So I have them selected, auto sync is turned on, and I'm going to choose to reset. So everything was reset, no adjustments were done. And I still have them all selected, so I could choose the photo menu and choose photo merge. And here I can choose panorama merge. You can also do HDR panoramas, but then they become really huge files. So, but that is an option. So it creates the panorama preview. While it's doing that, you have, oops, that's kind of fun. So we have different options as to how it analyzes the image. We can go with spherical, and you will notice that it will change it to the spherical mode. So it'll be kind of slightly more rounded, cylindrical, and you can try all three. Okay, so it expanded the sky. It also stretched out the mountains a little bit. Let's try perspective. I think that was the first one. So perspective actually gives us the best perspective, except that I'm going to have to crop quite a bit into this image. And what I mean by that is, you see you have boundary wrap here. So if I stretch it out, it will start cropping into the image. Now I could do fill edges, and then it's taking some of the AI technology with Adobe, and it analyzes the pixels that are nearby, and I'm sure you've seen it just now. It filled in the gaps. Now you can also use auto settings, and what this will do, it will just basically apply the auto settings as though you applied auto settings in the develop module. So that is another option. I actually like to do my own settings, so I'm not going to click on auto settings, but you could experiment with that. Now you will also notice that it's going to create a stack of all the images, because normally you don't need to see all the sections of the images as individual thumbnails. This will stack them. I'll go ahead and click on merge. The progress bar will go through all the way on the top left, and let's see what we get. And so here we go. We have our panorama merge. Now what's really nice about this is the fact that it's still a DNG file. It's still a raw file that is stitched together, and I have a lot of dynamic range here to adjust it still, so I could make it, well, actually, I'm not going to do the exposure. I'm going to hold my shift key, double click on whites, double click on blacks, and I actually do want to see a little bit more detail in my shadows, so I could open this up. So see, I can see some trees in the area right there. I could add a little bit more texture to the image, a little bit more clarity, make it a little bit snappier. I can also adjust my sky color, for example. Let's say I want to go into saturate, and I'm going to saturate the sky a little bit, like so. And you can do all the normal things that you do. And what happens as far as your library is concerned, you see you have all of these images and there are a stack. So if you double click on the stack, it will open up and you will see all the contents of this one single panorama.